happy here in Colorado compared to the rest of the United States, and I'm really glad like I'm here in Colorado and not Florida anymore, where people go to prison for 21, 22 grams of marijuana. That's a felony. Anyway, I want to get back to a question I asked last week, or last month with Robert Corry and the other lawyers. The good doctor just contradicted everything that I got an answer for last month. I am one of those patients that have to have more medicine than what 6 plants will deliver. My recommendation is for 20 plants, and I believe that my medication needs to be infused to hash oil for the best results. 6 plants is not enough. Clearly, under the Constitution, 6 plants is the minimum, because right underneath there states that the caregiver and the patient has the control of that count. Who's right? The Constitution saying that the patient has the control of this, and the caregiver and the doctor, or is it just 6 plants? Which is it?
From the point of view of the physician, okay, and this may be, and I'm not talking about the caregiver at all, from the point of view of the physician is not in a position to write more than 6 plants. He will write on a specific number. In your case, I would put down patient request, given his condition, patient request and needs an excess of these 6 plants. The finite meaning of the law says if you get busted, okay, and I've written that, and you have more than 6 plants, then that will be defended in court and you may win the case, but it still will be the hassle for you. But just because the doctor puts down 7 plants or 18 plants or whatever it is, you'll still have to prove that in court. My writing it down means nothing. The issue about the caregiver situation is out of my domain. So what's said, that still has to be worked out. But I know that they're coming down. They'll be looking to bust you, and they'll be looking at your form, and then you'll have to defend yourself, and that will be the hassle.
All right. The law has always been that a patient can have whatever amount is medically necessary. All right. It's been in place since 2000. Now the law is, under 1284 and Senate Bill 109, that a doctor can write a specific amount, and those amounts are the number of plants or ounces. You can have elevated ounce counts or elevated plant counts. Those new bills specifically endorse that practice. That said, there are law enforcement officers out there who still have this attitude that there's a 6 plant limit, and there is, and I agree with you that the 6 plants is a floor rather than a ceiling. I think you're always safe with 6 or under plants, and this whole business, as everybody knows, is degrees of risk. How much risk do you want to take? Having more than 6 plants a patient is a risk. It's a greater risk if you don't have a doctor's affirmative recommendation for it, and you may have to go to court and prove that up. But keep in mind the Jason Long case that I tried in Boulder comes down on that issue. Jason Long has 2 pounds in his home for his own personal use. He never claimed to be a caregiver for anyone else. He didn't have a doctor's advice for that 2 pounds. That was out the window. We convinced the jury that it was the prosecutor's burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he had too much. They had no evidence to that effect. So Jason Law is acquitted, and he wins his case in Boulder District Court after an incredibly arduous 4-day felony jury trial that broke him down. I mean, he was a suffering guy in a wheelchair. That's not where you want to be. You don't want to have to prove this up. Although we did get those 2 pounds back after the trial, which was pretty nice.
I am willing to be a
Okay, I appreciate that. So this has always been degrees of risk. How much risk do you want to take? I can defend elevated plant counts without a doctor's recommendation. So as Dr. Breckerman says, you do have to prove this up. Having a written piece of paper from a medical doctor who is professionally licensed in the state of Colorado saying you need this many plants, it's very hard for law enforcement to question that because they don't have a doctor saying the opposite who's examined you and who knows you as a patient. But this is always degrees of risk. If you want to be as risk averse as possible, regardless of whether you have the doctor's recommendation for 6 plants or more, just keep it to 6 plants per patient, 3 of which are flying. That's the absolute safest thing. But if you have to exceed it, know that you're taking a slight risk, but also know that you've got a defense. I wish I had a stronger answer for you.
I already went to prison for marijuana back in 1978. Only 1,000 feet away from Ted Bundy, maximum security, for 2 pounds. Yes, I am willing to take the risk.
All right.
Thank you.